our scheduled session. So there is a bit of an opportunity for some other people to ask or re-ask questions. If you would like to talk to the speakers, it would be a good idea if you raised your hand and we can call on you to talk. But in the meantime, I wonder if I could address a question to all of our speakers in turn. The intention of this workshop, and we've called it a workshop rather than a conference or seminar, was to start the discussion about how we could best collaborate in banana research and what are the gaps and the key research questions that we need to answer going forward. So I wonder if I could go through our speakers, starting with Chunyu Li, to answer that question. You know, what do you believe is the key research that needs to happen now? So what's next for your research? I think you're still here with us, are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
For me, in my mind, the next, in the next step, for my research field, we should mind more, invest deeply the interaction mechanism for the effectors and other kinds of the valence factors. We should fish out more the receptors and other affinity proteins from the host using nowadays the molecular methods that especially the gene addition technology to edit the receptor genes in banana to improve the resistance to TR4 may in the future mean next step.
Yeah, thank you. And Elizabeth Aitken, your answer to that question?
I think, well, through collaboration, I think one thing that we need to do is to look at more of the diversity of the germplasm, to look for more resistance that's present. I mean, if you compare banana with any other crop, we really have a very, well, I mean, it's an effort to collect bananas from around the world, but if you compare it with rice or wheat or something, the diversity in the germplasm collections of those crops compared with banana, they have a great advantage. So I'm sure there's a lot more natural resistance there that we can get hold of if we were only able to get hold of the germplasm. And germplasm screening, I think, is very important. But I've been very impressed, particularly with the talks from last week, where so many cultural things have been done using biocontrol, using soil amendments, how people have been able to manage the TR4 problem. And I think that's been very impressive listening to that. Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I always think when I go to PNG that the diversity of bananas is so enormous. You can drive along a road and in 100 meters, I swear I see 100 different types of bananas. But we've got to go there and look, I agree. Yeah, Dr. Bai Ting Ting, your priority areas for research? Yeah.
I will answer 5 questions.
Sure.
Question one, can you please clarify what method you used to differentiate viable and dead TR4 in soil? Answer, the qPCR method in references can't differentiate variable and dead TR4 in soil. Soil is a complex environment and dead TR4 degrades quickly, so it is not necessary to differentiate. Question 2. Why the TR4 population increased and then decreased during vegetative growth of the host plant? Answer. The pathogen of banana Fusarium Wilt disease can survive for many years in soil as a saprophyte that feeds on organic matter, and thus banana root exudates can stimulate the spore germination. So in the first, when the banana was planted in the soil, the extracts of banana will let the pathogen germinate. Then the pathogen will increase, but the climate, climate temperature decreased in the next 2 months. Maybe the climate influenced the TR4 pathogen grew, so the pathogen decreased. Question 3. How are you taking samples to determine the copy numbers of TR4 present in soils? Answer. During the sampling period, the soil was collected from the rhizosphere of banana plants using a soil sample tool. For each plot, the fresh rhizosphere soil of 4 plants was collected as 4 experimental replicates. Each replicate soil sample was collected from 5 sites around the banana plant and mixed manually. The sampling layer was between 5 to 20 cm in depth. Question 4. Can you comment how much of it represents viable inoculum? Answer. The qPCR method in references can't differentiate viable and dead TR4 in soil. Question 5. What specific gas is being produced during anaerobic soil disinfestation when herbane was applied, and how long was the residual effect? Answer. ASD treatment depletes the oxygen in the soil and make an anaerobic and hot soil environment structures to kill the pathogen, so the TR4 quantity was not significantly different between untreated control. But our results showed that the TR4 quantity was not significantly different between untreated control and ASD treatment after 1 and 2 months. So maybe it is not suitable in Yunnan to use ASD method to control TR4. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you also have some knowledge to share on where you think the key research is going forward? What's the key, your next research project? No? No, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's fine. Dr. Wei, Yeah, I just wondered if you could share with the participants today where you see the next steps are for your research.
Just now I mentioned it
Mm.
in the Zoo chat. We hope that we can get the resistance cultivars by transgenic plant. Also, maybe the transgenic plant is very difficult to obtain, but we want to try it. So we, in the future, we will use transgenic method to get the resistance plant.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And I believe Professor James Dale will be speaking in our next session on November the 3rd. So he's talking on his methods for transgenic bananas. And Diane, last but not least, what's your recommendations for, have you got a recommendation to share?
A recommendation
For future research?
Yeah, we are working on various aspects. Of course, this is something that that I'm presenting, but of course Altus is on here as well, and he can maybe also make a comment. We are looking at different things, detection. So can we kind of like detect something quicker that would be at this stage? It's something that is easier to use for resource poor farmers. That would be one aspect that I would be looking at. With regards to the diversity, we are very keen to collaborate with anyone on VCG characterization of populations. So if you are keen to see what is the diversity of FOC in your population, there hasn't been a lot of studies done in your country, we are very happy to help on that. And it is important to really see which one of these strains are prevalent in your population to then make or suggest different management approaches. And of course, we are working also in the GATES project with Liz on resistance to FOC. So of course, we're all looking for a resistant variety. I'm not sure. Well, we're working on various aspects. So yeah, but I think that for now, that would be my two suggestions. I don't know if Altus is still on and if he wants to make some suggestions as well.
Hi, Altus, are you still on the call?
Doesn't look.
Yes, I am, Irene. Thank you very much. Yes, I think she covered all things. I think the two important issues is an affordable in-field kind of detection. And then secondly is a reliable detection system for inoculum in soils or in water or in other types of systems, and not the isolated ones. So those are important future issues. As Dion mentioned also, we are always interested in collaboration. So certainly diversity studies, if anyone wants to collaborate on that, we are most happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you. And I think speaking for TFNet and the organisers of this workshop, we're also happy if we can to facilitate linkages and collaborations wherever we can. So I think we've come now to the end of what has been an endlessly fascinating session that is showing a clear opportunities for a future where Fusarium is certainly going to be part of the landscape, but not, you know, not a disaster, that it can be managed by many ways through understanding the interactions, through the diagnostics and building on resistance. So thank you to the speakers. Thank you again to Tropical Fruit Net for organising such a professionally run workshop. And I would like to hand back to Dorothy and Jakob to bring this workshop to an end. Encourage anyone who has further questions left unasked, send us an email. So we'd be very welcome to receive emails, and we're happy to share. We'll share the minutes and the recording of this meeting. So the most important thing is that this conversation goes on. So thank you to Jakob.